This is my ultimate 3-4-2-1 that scores over 180 goals and absolutely dominated every league we played in. Let's go over and see how effective this really is. It's going to be Premier League champions with Manchester City, winning 34 games, drawing 1 and only losing 3. Also winning the Super Cup in a dominant 6-0 win. The FA Cup, we're going to claim that as well when it comes to an extra time win over bitter rivals Manchester United. We're not going to stop there. The Carabao Cup comes back with us as well. A 1-0 win against Liverpool. We love to see it. Go on then, throw it in. The 5th trophy in one season. A 2-1 win in the Community Shield over Arsenal. Averaging just over 3 goals a game at 3.11. Conceded at 0.47 and a pass completion of 87%. Seeing the comments, these are going to be some of the stats. This is actually over 180 goals across the entire season. Erling Haaland with 90, De Bruyne with 27, Phil Foden with 15, 14 for Bernardo Silva, Diaz with 9, 6 for Rodri, Grealish with 6, etc, etc. Obviously, the bulk load is going to be done through Erling Haaland, as to be expected. But it just shows, you know, if we look at the assists as well, we have 26 from De Bruyne, but the real influential areas, which we love to be seeing, with a tactic that the fullbacks mean so much. Sergio Gomez, 21 assists. Cancelo with 17, Phil Foden with 17, 14 for Silva. Even Kyle Walker coming in with 14. A lot of the assists coming from those fullback areas, which are so crucial inside of any 3 or 5 at the back system. We absolutely dominated the league stats with the most points per game, the most goals at 118, most shots at 923, fewer shots against at 185, 887 dribbles makes us rank 1, and the most clean sheets, and also the fewest conceded. Over to Marseille now in the French league, where we actually won the league. Over PSG, obviously a little bit easier now, without the Neymar, without the Messi, etc, etc, but still a very impressive result. Also picking up the Coupe de France and a very comfortable 3-0 win over Lens. And it's going to sound nuts, but we actually won the Champions League final in a 4-0 win over Milan, which I know is going to sound nuts. And what is even more nuts is the goals. Look at the time. So we scored in the 60th minute, then we're in the 88th minute, and we managed to score 3 goals before the end with some absolute sensational link-up play. Correa having one hell of a season there, and it was nothing short of the absolute extraordinary. Getting to this stage of the Champions League final against Milan, a very beatable team with this fantastic Marseille team, by the way, and it was an absolute joy. As you can see, goal after goal going in. Marseille's team is absolutely class now, by the way. Harriet through to Correa, a dominant 4-0 win. In terms of the data hub, it's going to be 3.18 goals per game, a conceded at 0.59, over 21 shots a game, and a pass completion of 88.52. Now, I know we won the Champions League, do take into account, obviously I do test with 4 teams in one save, so we did knock out certain teams quite easily, but still a ridiculous season. Over to Celtic, nearly enjoying an invincible season, 35 wins, 2 draws, and only the 1 loss. Also winning the Scottish Cup against Rangers in a 4-0 final. I'm sorry to the Rangers fans. Again, Rangers fans, if you did forgive me, you're not going to forgive me now. Another win for us, the Premier Sports Cup, in a 1-0 win. We averaged 3.89 goals per game, conceded at 0.42, over 24 shots a game, and a pass completion of 88.31. And last but definitely not least, that is going to be Galatasaray, obviously over in Turkey, where we played 38, won 33, drew only 2, and lost 3 games, picking up 101 points, where we scored 3.76 goals a game, conceded only 0.63, a pass completion again of a very stable 88%, that seems to be the real ballpark figure, and shots per game averaging 24.61. So we're now going to go over the tactic, and of course I'm also going to do a little bit of analysis. You guys seem to be absolutely loving that recently, so let's crack into it. We've got 3 variants, let's waste no more time. But defensively, obviously you know the formation, it is going to rock with a 3 at the back system, and as you can see by this wonderful diagram right now on your screen, we are going to be going over it. So as you can see, we opt to have 1 centre back in the middle with a little down arrow. This means he's going to be covering the goalkeeper as closely as possible. He's not really going to get forward at all, and the reason why he's in there as well is because to the left and to the right of him, we are going to have a wide centre back on the left and also on the right. And the great thing about this is they are not only are good for covering for when the fullbacks go up, but also it makes the passing a lot easier to be completed around the back, because them being in wide areas makes them closer to the wing backs, makes them closer to the midfield players, and it just maintains a very comfortable possession style playing out from the back. And as you can see from the diagram as well, with the arrows, the fullbacks are going to be obviously staying to the wide areas of the field, which is a must obviously providing width for the team, and the arrows are absolutely flying forward, meaning they are going to be very attacking. You saw the stats, obviously, when we broke them down with Manchester City, and the fullbacks were absolutely incredible. Tons of assists, even a few goals, and having them do that is an absolute much-needed thing inside of this game. So in FM terms, it's going to look a little bit like this for the tactics. So it is going to be a sweeper keeper on defend on tackle harder, a wide centre-back on defend on mark tighter and the default instructions, a ball-playing defender on cover, simply on the default. Again, we were talking about it, important to have one centre-back on that cover role, and next to him, a wide centre-back on the left, on defend, on mark tighter. In terms of the fullbacks, they're going to be two wing-backs on the left. We're going to have a supportive wing-back on cross more often, dribble more, and also stay wider, alongside of a little bit a tackle harder as well. Now, if you are picking up too many bookends, you can obviously remove a few of those tackle harders. And on the right-hand side, it's going to be exactly the same. And this back three, back five, however you want to describe it, is absolutely incredible. It's the perfect mix between being attacking with the fullbacks, and also the centre-backs are very defensively solid. And to be honest, we didn't even concede too many goals with any of the teams we tested with. So going over to the midfield, you've probably seen the player roles. We've got to talk about the deep line playmaker and how many options this guy has, because it's nuts. I believe it's around 8 options this guy has. As you can see, we've drawn him out. He can play to anyone in the front three, because obviously a deep line playmaker is not afraid to make a little bit more of a risky pass if and when needed. But the great thing about it is he is so close to play it to the right, to the volante. He can go back to the ball playing defender on the cover. He can go back to one of the wide centre backs, and also to that wing back, either directly to him, or as you can see by the random arrow in the drift and forward position, he can also play it into oncoming space. And the great thing about this is that you maintain possession so well playing this way, because everyone is quite close. The only real direct ball that this guy would be playing would be to the shadow striker on the right, and to the advanced forward in behind, so it's a great way to maintain possession. And the same goes for the volante. As you can see right now, he's going to have slightly less options that I feel would be suitable for him. Obviously not going to be playing as many risky passes in this system, but he can easily play it to the deep line playmaker. He can go right ahead of him to the shadow striker. He can go to the right where the wing back is obviously going to be positioned. He's got the wide centre back and the ball playing defender, so this system is a real good way of almost guaranteeing successful passes, which is why it had a great pass completion and also great possession stats. But in the game, it's going to look like this. So the deep line playmaker actually remains on support on the default instructions, and the volante comes in on support on tackle harder and mark tighter. So this is exactly what I want these players to be doing, and I feel like those diagrams perfectly explain why they're in the team. Over to the shadow strikers, you probably have seen tactics like this before on my channel. Whenever I do play a narrow system, I cannot stress how important enough it is to have these players on stay wider, because they act a hybrid of centralised players and also wingers. It doesn't really interrupt the overlap and wing backs at all. And also the great thing about shadow striker is they do sometimes just run straight forwards, meaning as these two forward lines do demonstrate, you can sometimes rock around with what appears to be 3 strikers. So in my opinion, the ideal role. It's going to look a little bit something like this in the game. So the shadow striker is going to be on attack, on stay wider, and also tackle harder, and it's going to be exactly the same for the left hand side. So these two players are obviously on the same instructions, but it's because they work so well. They're going to get into really dangerous areas out wide, and also going to help out the advanced forward, who by the way is also on attack, on shoot more often. And sometimes you go from having 2 wide players to what appears to rockin' like you're having 3 strikers, so you really do get the best of both worlds playing this way. Over to the team instructions, and it is going to be an attacker mentality on fairly wide. Playing out from the back is obviously going to be a must with what we've been talking about. A shorter passing directness, a higher tempo, run at defence, work ball into the box, and also low crosses. A very good way of playing, and it just gets the job done really well. In transition, we're a counter-pressing team, so obviously we're going to have counter-press on. We've got to hit on the counter. You can see here from this wonderful diagram, we're going to have both fullbacks going forward, the shadow striker and also the striker really trying to penetrate the opposition back line when they're at their most vulnerable. Distributing to the centre-backs is obviously going to be a much-needed thing as well, and to do this, we're going to be taking short goal kicks. Out of possession, as most 3 at the back systems require, a high defensive line is a must in my opinion, alongside of a high pressing line of engagement, more often on the trigger press, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and also get stuck in. Now, I know this tactic is quite aggressive, with us pressing, with us get stuck in, with us tackle harder. If you are picking up too many bookings, the first thing I'd look to change is take this off. It is going to remove a little bit of the intensity, but if you're getting sick and tired of bookings, that is what needs to be tweaked. And of course, guys, we are now going to go over an attacking and defensive variant, as we do in every video. I want to quickly thank all of the wonderful names coming down the screen. These are going to be new or existing Patreon members. Patreon is a great way to support me as a creator. It means the absolute world to me. And also, you guys get some fantastic perks, including access to all 3 of these wonderful downloads in one simple download, which basically saves you guys a ton of time copying it click for click. You also get early video and tactical release, priority in your tactic and rebuild requests, one-on-one tactical help, and also access to all of the exclusive Patreon giveaways, which definitely are going to include 3 to 4 copies of FM24 and possibly some football shirts as well. So definitely check it out in the description. So the attacking variant is going to look a little bit like this. Now, it might look very similar, and that's because it is already a very attacking tactic, but there are a few things you can change, and the first change you're going to make is going to be a sweeper keeper on support on tackle harder, just a little bit more of a progressive, sort of aggressive sweeper keeper than obviously him being situated onto defend. Next to him, a ball-playing defender, on defend, on dribble more, and also mark tighter. And next to him, we're going to rock out again with the exact same. So you probably noticed that, but the difference is going to be dribble more, a must-needed instruction. Let them centre-backs have a little bit of aggression in them. Let them drive up the field. This is a tactic you're going to be using if you are desperate for a goal. I wouldn't recommend going into a game like this. So if you are desperate, let the centre-backs have some fun. Let them make progressive runs forward and link up the play. The wing-backs go on to attack, and they're going to be exactly on the same instructions as displayed before. So again, just pushing up the field a little bit higher and really giving them a license to get forward and cause issues. A deep line playmaker is going to remain exactly the same. Also, the volante is also going to remain exactly the same because, like I said before, it already is such an attacking tactic. In terms of the team instructions, the mentality is going to remain on attacking. We're going to now opt to have overlap left and overlap right on, really making those fullbacks into progressive and dangerous options, and they're going to absolutely thrive in this system playing like that. We've remained with shorter passing directness, we've still got the higher tempo, we've still got the work ball into the box on. The only change is now we're going to have the double up of run at defence and also be more expressive. In transition, we're going to have a counter-pressing style, a counter, distribute quickly, and distribute to the centre-backs, and also take short goal kicks. So the only change there is obviously the urgency on the distribution. Out of possession is going to be relatively the same. The higher line, the high pressing line, much more often, still putting tons of pressure on the keeper, and also getting stuck in. Now you can, if you are desperate, and I mean last 2-3 minutes, get that line to step up more and really apply pressure to the opposition. But just make yourself aware you are going to be defensively vulnerable playing that attacking. And I thought I'd just quickly say, I've been seeing some comments recently saying, do I play the games? Do I sim them? I actually do play a fair few of these games. So what I suggest, guys, is please do follow me over on Twitter. You can see the link in the description. Also going to be on the screen right now. I post clips and things like that of little teasers of tactics and things like that. And also, if you guys have got any questions or help with your tactics, that is the best place to find me. So definitely go and follow me over there. Defensively, though, this tactic can transform into a bit of a defensive unit. As you can see right now, the sweeper keeper comes back in on defend. The wide centre-backs remain exactly the same as the default, alongside of the ball-playing defender. We obviously do not want them dribbling more when we're trying to defend a game out. The wing-backs on support simply and out on stay wider and tackle harder. That does not go for one, that goes for both of them, exactly the same. So very defensively structured back 5 there, or 3. In the middle, we're going to have a DM on defend, simply on the default, and a deep line playmaker, just because I want still one midfield player in there to make progressive passes to the front 3 that obviously are still going to be there to hit on any sort of loose counter-attacks. Moving up the field, an advanced playmaker on support, on run from position, stay wider, and also tackle harder. This is going to be the one player that has got the license to roam about and cause sorts of issues, get in little dangerous pockets of space. And next to him, an advanced playmaker on dribble less, stay wider, and also tackle harder. So a much more restricted advanced playmaker. And to finish it off, it's still going to be the advanced forward on attack, and we're still going to have him on shoot more often because I always have at least the striker still being fully attacking minded. In terms of the team instructions, we are going to adopt a positive mentality. Fairly wide is going to remain. We're not going to overlap left and right anymore. The shumper? What was that? What was I even going to say? The shumper. The passing directness is going to go down to much shorter. The higher tempo is going to remain because that is the DNA of this tactic at the end of the day. We're still going to work the ball into the box. We're going to be dribbling less to maintain better levels of possession, and also we're going to be more disciplined on the attacks. And since this is a defensive tactic, we've also got to adopt a little bit of time wasting, not maxed out, just sometimes. In transition, we're going to have counter press, slow pace down, distribute to the centre backs, while taking short goal kicks. So the real change here is obviously not directly hitting on the counter and also slowing the pace down when the goalkeeper has the ball. In terms of out of possession, we're going to have the standard defensive line, so we are going to drop it a little bit now and also introduce a mid block, which is probably the best option to go for when you are trying to defend a game out and sort of get loads of people behind the ball. We're going to have more often and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. And that is going to give you guys 3 very solid 3-4-2-1 tactics. Honestly, one of the best 3-4-2-1s I've made. I've seen several comments asking for like an updated variant on the Xabi Alonso, I believe. This isn't based around Xabi Alonso. This is my sort of take on things and how it basically should work. It's tons of fun to use all 3 variants, so definitely get your hands on them. And if you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like, drop a little comment below on any future videos you want to see. But more importantly, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.